Have you ever caught yourself saying something you instantly regret? Something that gives away too much, reveals your insecurity, or makes you look unprepared? Words are not harmless. They're weapons or shields. Smart people know that the wrong phrase can sabotage trust, destroy confidence, expose your weakness without you even knowing. Today, let's uncover 6 phrases the wise avoid, revealing how Stoic philosophy trains us to speak with calm power, so your words reflect discipline, presence, and strength. Welcome to Marcus Aurelius Stoic Resilience, your daily source of ancient wisdom for modern life. Here we don't just talk about Stoicism, we live it. We learn to see obstacles clearly. We master our emotions. We choose our words carefully, because speech is action. The Stoics believed that words reveal your mind, that you should never say anything you haven't considered deeply. Epictetus said, "First, learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." Today's video isn't about empty self-help tricks. It's about real tested wisdom. It's about refusing to give away power with sloppy speech, and learning instead to craft words that carry weight, authority, calm, clarity, if you want to stand out in a world of noise. Talk less but say more. Speak slowly, think carefully. Make every word count, so settle in, take a breath. Let's explore. The first of these 6 phrases smart people avoid and what to say instead. Because when you master your words, you master yourself. Phrase 1. I can't help it. Let's start with one of the most damaging phrases people use without even noticing. I can't help it. It seems harmless, but it's an admission of defeat. It signals that you have no control over yourself. The Stoics would have called this the language of slavery. Slavery to emotion, to impulse, to habit. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Saying, "I can't help it," gives away that power. It says, I'm not responsible. It wasn't me. I'm helpless. Picture this moment. A colleague loses their temper and says something cruel. Later they mumble, "I can't help it, I was angry." A friend repeatedly forgets plans and shrugs. "I can't help it, I'm just forgetful." Partner lashes out. "I can't help it, that's just how I am." These aren't apologies, they're warnings. They say, don't expect me to change. Don't expect me to try. The Stoic response. The Stoic would never excuse themselves like that. They trained for adversity. They prepared their mind so that when provoked, they responded with virtue. They believed that between stimulus and response was a space you control. That's where your freedom lives. Instead of "I can't help it," smart people say, "I'm sorry, I lost control. That was wrong. I'll do better. I didn't handle that well. I'll fix it." It's not about being perfect. It's about being responsible, owning your actions, learning from failure. Because real strength isn't about never falling. It's about standing back up, admitting you fell, committing to change. Modern reflection. Think about your daily life. How often do you excuse your own reactions? Scrolling for hours and saying, "I can't help it, I'm bored." Snapping at someone, "I can't help it, I'm stressed." Complaining about the world, but doing nothing. "I can't help it, it's too hard." The world has always been hard. The question is, will you train for it? Will you own your mind? Next time you want to say, "I can't help it," Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this truly out of my control, or am I giving up too soon? Stoic exercise. Pause before you speak. Name what you're feeling. Choose a response that reflects your values. Apologize if needed. Commit to doing better. Because Stoicism isn't about pretending you don't feel. It's about mastering what you say next. So that's the first phrase smart people avoid. A phrase that reveals surrender when you want to. Show strength. But there's another phrase just as dangerous. A phrase that signals uncertainty and robs you of quiet authority. On page 2, we'll dive into phrase 2, teaching you to replace self-doubt with calm, steady confidence. Let's keep going because every word you choose reveals who you are. Phrase 2, I don't know what to do. Here's the second phrase you hear all the time, and it sounds so innocent. But pay close attention. I don't know what to do. It's the sound of someone giving away their authority, their agency, their power. Now, let's be real. Everyone feels lost sometimes. We all face moments where the path isn't clear. But the Stoics would say there's a difference between acknowledging uncertainty and surrendering to it. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. The Stoic didn't wait for perfect instructions. They didn't wait for permission. They asked questions. They reflected, and then they acted. Modern example. Think about work. Someone says, I don't know what to do on this project. So they sit, scroll, wait for rescue. Or worse, they complain to everyone else. A smarter approach. I'm unclear on next steps. Let me clarify. Let's brainstorm. Here's my proposal. Here's what I think. The Stoic didn't seek perfection. They sought progress. Because waiting for certainty is paralysis. And the modern world rewards initiative. Self-starters, people who try. The Stoic response, instead of saying, I don't know what to do, they'd say, let's figure this out. I'm going to try this first. I'll get more information. I'll make a plan. The difference is subtle, but it's everything. One phrase signals defeat. The other signals determination. Stoic training. Ask yourself, when was the last time you gave up too quickly? When you said, I don't know, and stopped there. What if you added one more sentence? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Smart people avoid final-sounding phrases. They keep their mind open. They stay moving. They embrace uncertainty as part of the path. Because wisdom isn't knowing everything. It's knowing how to keep learning. Practical exercise. When you want to say, I don't know, pause. Add, but I'll find out. Write down one next step. Seek advice if needed, but own the action. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself every morning, today you will meet interference, ingratitude, betrayal. He didn't know exactly what shape those obstacles would take, but he didn't freeze. He prepared his mind to respond. Phrase 3. That's just the way I am. Now, let's look at phrase 3. Another favorite of people who want to avoid responsibility. That's just the way I am. It sounds confident, like you're being honest about your limits. But listen closer. It's an excuse. Seneca warned, most powerful is he who has himself in his own power. Saying, that's just the way I am, is giving up before you even try. It's refusing to grow. Modern scenario. Imagine someone says, I'm just blunt. That's just the way I am. But what they mean is, I don't want to practice tact. Or, I'm always late. That's just the way I am. which really means, I don't value your time. The Stoic knows that character isn't set in stone. It's clay you shape every day. It's effort. It's intention. The Stoic response, instead of, that's just the way I am, try, I'm working on this. This is something I'm trying to improve. Thank you for your patience. Growth isn't weakness, it's power. It says you're paying attention, that you care about the effect you have on others. Stoic training. Ask yourself, what habits have I accepted as permanent that don't serve me? Which phrases do I use to excuse myself from effort? Because the Stoic doesn't lie to themselves. They look in the mirror with brutal honesty, not to shame themselves, but to see clearly and to act. Practical exercise. Notice when you say, that's just the way I am. Ask, is that true or is it just easier? Decide on one small change you can make. Practice it daily. Because a person who refuses to change is choosing their limitations. The Stoic chooses growth even when it's uncomfortable. We've covered 3 phrases so far, each one giving away power. Excusing weakness, hiding behind comfort. But there's another phrase just as dangerous, one that seems polite but robs you of authority. On page 3, we'll explore phrase 4, showing you how Stoic wisdom teaches us to replace passive speech with active, confident words, because the way you speak shapes the way you live. Let's keep going, building a voice that's disciplined, intentional, and strong. Phrase 4, I'll try. This is a phrase that sounds positive at first, but listen carefully. I'll try. It's subtle, but it's the language of hesitation, of half-commitment. Smart people notice how it lets you off the hook. Before you even begin, you're not saying, I will or I won't. You're leaving yourself an exit, a back door. The Stoics didn't leave back doors in their commitments. They believed in clear intention, in purpose, in living as if their word mattered. Modern scenario. Think about a leader who says, I'll try to get it done. What does that signal to the team? It says, don't rely on me. I'm not all in, it's hedging. Protecting ego in case of failure. Instead, imagine hearing, I will get it done. Or even honestly, I can't do it this week. Let's find another plan. The Stoic response. Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Don't talk about it. Do it. And if you fail on that too, learn, adapt, but don't hide behind, I'll try. Because I'll try feels safe. It keeps you from being accountable. But Stoic speech is about responsibility, about clear promises. Stoic training. Ask yourself, how often do I say, I'll try, instead of making a decision? Am I protecting myself from the possibility of failure? Or am I respecting the other person's need for clarity? Practical exercise. Replace I'll try with clear choices. Yes or no. If you're unsure, be honest. I'll check and get back to you. Practice committing with intention. Because people respect clarity. They respect reliability. And you will respect yourself more when you know you mean what you say. Phrase 5. It's not my fault. Now let's move to phrase 5. One of the most common, one of the most destructive. It's not my fault. This phrase is a shield, but not the kind that protects you. It's the kind that keeps you from growing. Modern scenario. Someone makes a mistake at work. The deadline is missed. The customer is unhappy. And the first thing they say, "It's not my fault." What are they really saying? Don't blame me. Don't make me uncomfortable. Don't make me look at my own role in this. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Blame is easy. Ownership is hard. But only one leads to progress. The Stoic response. A Stoic asks, what is in my control here? How did I contribute to this outcome? Even if the problem wasn't fully my fault, what can I learn? What can I do next time? Because the moment you say, it's not my fault, you're closing the door on growth. You're choosing to stay the same. Stoic training. Notice when you want to defend yourself reflexively. Pause. Ask, what was my part in this? Even small ownership builds integrity. Practical exercise. Next time something goes wrong, replace, it's not my fault with, here's what I'll do differently next time. Share that with someone else if you can. Build the habit of accountability. Because Stoic speech is not about guilt. It's about power. The power to change, to improve, to grow. Phrase 6. I can't help it. And finally, phrase 6. Maybe the most insidious of them all. I can't help it. This phrase kills possibility. It says, I'm at the mercy of my impulses, my anger, my fear, my habits, but the Stoics would never accept that. They taught that the most important freedom is self-mastery. Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. Modern scenario. Think of someone who loses their temper, who says hurtful things, and then shrugs. I can't help it. That's just how I am. Or someone who overspends, overeats, overdrinks, and says, I can't help it. It's just who I am. But is that true? Or is that just the easiest path? The one with no work, no discipline, no courage? The Stoic response. A Stoic acknowledges feelings, but they don't obey them blindly. They practice awareness, restraint. They know mastery isn't about suppression, it's about choice. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Stoic training. When you catch yourself saying, I can't help it, challenge it. Ask, what small choice could I make instead? Practice that choice. Daily. Build the muscle of self-control one decision at a time. Practical exercise. Journal one area where you feel out of control. Write one small thing you can change. Do it for a week. Because smart people don't surrender to impulse. They shape it. They guide it. They become the architect of their own character. We've explored 6 phrases that give away our power, that undermine our intentions, that reveal a lack of discipline. But awareness is the first step. Now let's talk about how to replace these phrases. How to speak with clarity, calm, and true power. On page 4, we'll build the practice of Stoic speech. How to train your words to match your values. Ready to go deeper. Let's move forward. We've spent time uncovering 6 phrases that weaken us, that make us sound unprepared, uncertain, unaccountable. But knowing what not to say is only half of wisdom. The other half? Learning to speak with intention, with calm, with power. The Stoics believed words weren't sheep, they were sacred. A reflection of our inner discipline, our character on display. As Marcus Aurelius said, The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So too do our words reflect the health of our mind. Why Stoic speech matters? Why does this even matter? Because speech shapes reality. It influences relationships. It guides teams. It inspires trust or destroys it. Think about it. The words you choose can calm a tense situation or ignite it. They can reassure a friend or make them doubt you. They can reveal confidence or betray insecurity. The Stoics didn't see speech as decoration. They saw it as a tool, a weapon, a responsibility. Modern context: you're in a meeting at work. Tensions are high. Deadlines missed. Blame is flying. The average person says, "It's not my fault," or mumbles, "I'll try," to deflect. Pressure. But the Stoic-inspired leader? They say, "Here's what I see. Here's what I own. Here's how I'll fix it." That speech builds trust, shows clarity, demonstrates calm under pressure. The Stoic rule of speech, Epictetus taught: first say to yourself what you would be, and do what you have to do. Speech is an extension of that. First think who you want to be, then speak accordingly. Ask, is this true? Is this necessary? Is this kind? Is this useful? 4 checkpoints. Simple, powerful, but hard in the heat of emotion. Practice one pause before speaking. Most people react. They don't respond. They hear criticism and lash out. They feel fear and lie. They want approval and overpromise. The Stoic pauses, breathes, observes the feeling without obeying it. That pause, it's where wisdom lives, where better words arise. Practical exercise. Next time you're about to speak in a tough moment, take one slow breath. Ask, what am I trying to achieve with these words? Choose clarity over cleverness. Choose honesty over comfort. Because that pause is the difference between reaction and response, between conflict and resolution. Practice 2. Speak less, say more. The Stoics prized brevity. They didn't believe in wasting words. Seneca wrote, "When words are many, sin is not absent, but in restraint there is power." Think of someone you respect. How often do they ramble? How often do they hedge? Or do they speak with weight and simplicity? Modern context. You're asked for feedback. Option 1. Ramble with half-truths to avoid discomfort. Option 2. Deliver one clear, honest insight with care. Which builds respect? Which wastes time? Practical exercise. Review something you said today. Could you have said it with fewer words? Did you add clarity or noise? Practice cutting away the unnecessary, because every unnecessary word dilutes the important ones. Practice 3. Replace weak phrases. Now let's return to those 6 dangerous phrases. We don't just drop them, we replace them. We train our tongue to serve our values. Instead of "I'll try," say "I will" or "I won't." Instead of "It's not my fault," say "Here's what I'll do differently." Instead of "I can't help it," say "Here's what I choose." This is the work, deliberate, daily. Uncomfortable at first, but it gets easier. More natural, more authentic. Modern scenario. A friend asks you for help. You want to. Say, "I'll try to make it." Stop. Be clear. "Yes, I'll be there at 5. Or "I can't today. Let's find another time." Your word becomes reliable. Your relationships deepen. Your reputation strengthens. Practice 4. Own your words. The Stoics were ruthless with themselves. No excuses, no blame shifting. If they spoke it, they meant it. That's why they journaled daily, reviewed their day, asked, "Did I keep my word today?" Because speech is integrity out loud, and integrity is peace. Practical exercise. Tonight, ask yourself, where did my words fail today? Where did they build trust? Where can I improve tomorrow? This self-accounting isn't guilt, it's growth. It's sculpting yourself into someone solid. The Stoic promise, speaking like a Stoic, doesn't mean being robotic. It doesn't mean suppressing emotion. It means directing it, channeling it into words that heal, clarify, inspire. It's not about perfection. It's about intention, the willingness to be honest, even when it's hard, the courage to choose silence when noise tempts you, the humility to admit error instead of blame, because words are power, and Stoic speech is power used wisely. We've learned to avoid weak phrases, to replace them with strong commitments, to pause, to clarify, to own our words. But let's go even further. On page 5, we'll bring all of this together into one powerful reflection. A Stoic speech manifesto you can carry forward in your own life. A guide to becoming not just a better speaker, but a better human. Ready? Let's keep going. Page 5, the Stoic Speech Manifesto. Bringing it all together, we've walked through the phrases that weaken us. We've seen how they slip into our speech unnoticed. We've talked about replacing them with clarity, with commitment, with truth. Now, let's pull it all together. Let's craft the mindset a personal manifesto for how we speak, how we choose our words, how we show who we are. Because this isn't just about sounding better. It's about being better. The Stoic promise. A Stoic doesn't speak to impress. A Stoic speaks to express, to clarify, to guide, to soothe, to strengthen. Words are tools. They can build bridges or burn them. They can inspire courage or sow fear. They can spread truth or poison with lies. What will you choose? The Stoics pledge. Let's imagine you stand before a mirror each morning. You look yourself in the eyes, and you say, "Today I will speak with intention. I will not say, 'I'll try,' when I mean no. I will not say, 'It's not my fault,' when I should say, 'Here's how I'll fix it.' I will not hide behind, 'I can't help it,' when I am choosing my own actions. I will be clear, I will be kind. I will be truthful even when it's uncomfortable. I will let my words serve my values, not my ego. I will speak less but mean more. This is the Stoics' pledge. Not to perfection but to progress. Not to pride but to purpose. Why this matters in the modern world? Because today more than ever our words are everywhere. In text messages, emails, comments, tweets, calls, videos, the speed is blinding. The noise is deafening. Everyone shouting to be heard. But a Stoic doesn't compete in that shouting match. A Stoic chooses silence when words add nothing. A Stoic chooses words carefully when they matter most. Modern scenarios picture this. Your friend vents their frustration at you unfairly. You want to say, "You always do this." But you pause. You breathe. You say instead, "Tell me, what's really going on?" Or imagine this. Your boss blames you for something you didn't do. You want to yell, "It's not my fault." Instead you say, "Here's what I'll do to prevent it next time." That is power. That is calm. That is mastery. Daily practices to live this. The Stoics didn't just read about philosophy. They practiced it. They trained for it like soldiers for battle. We must do the same. Here are your drills. Practice 1. Daily reflection every evening. Ask, where did my words heal? Where did they harm? Where was I clear? Where did I hedge? Write it down. Own it. Improve. Practice 2. The breath before speaking. Train yourself to pause. Even one breath changes everything. That breath is the difference between insult and insight, between lashing out and lifting up. Practice 3. Speak less. Listen more. Most of us listen to reply. A Stoic listens to understand. Speak only when you can add value. Be comfortable with silence. It is the mark of wisdom. Practice 4. Eliminate the 6 weak phrases I'll try becomes I will or won't. It's not my fault becomes here's how I'll fix it. I can't help it becomes here's my choice. You always becomes this specific time. Whatever becomes here's what I think. It is. What it is becomes here's what I'll do next. Replace them. Train them out. Build new muscle memory. Why this is hard and worth. IT. This isn't easy work. It's confronting. It's humbling. But the reward? Peace of mind. Trust in relationships. Respect from others. Integrity with yourself. Seneca wrote, speech is the index of the mind. When your speech is disciplined, so is your mind. When your words are clear, so is your purpose. The Stoic voice in you. Picture Marcus Aurelius in his tent, writing by lamplight, pausing between wars, choosing words not for glory, but for truth. Epictetus in his classroom, guiding slaves and freedmen alike, asking them to own their choices. Seneca in exile, writing letters that would outlive him. I millennia, trying to guide a young Nero to virtue. These were not men of perfect words. They were men of practiced words. Deliberate words. Words that shaped empires. Words that shaped history. Final reflection for you. What if you chose that for yourself? What if you chose to be known, not for how much you speak, but for how well you speak? What if your words became your bond, your promise, your art? The Stoic Speech Manifesto. Speak only what is true. Speak only what is necessary. Speak only what is kind. Speak only what is useful. This is the Stoic way, not for show, not for applause, but for peace. So today, choose one phrase to eliminate. Choose one situation to handle with calm words. Start small. Stay consistent. Because with each word you shape, so you shape your character. So you shape your world. Thank you for listening to Marcus Aurelius Stoic Resilience. If this helped you today, consider subscribing, sharing, and joining us for the next lesson. Together, let's keep building a life of clarity, calm, and unshakable virtue. Stay grounded, stay grateful, stay stoic.